The protagonist is the main character of a story. In the story you are telling with your life, you need to be that main character, making decisions, taking actions, and following through with grit and perseverance. In this episode with Paul Burkus, we examine what it means to be the main character of your life, building a protagonist mindset, and how to take charge of your own life without treating others like props in your story. I'm Brent Diggs, and this is the Full Mental Bracket, where science and storytelling meet to help you level up and tell a better story with your life.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Are we actually recording?
We are recording the Full Mental Bracket podcast.
It's here.
No, if you're looking for the half bracket, you're on the wrong channel.
Round 2.
100% or go back. Something. We'll work on that. It needs to be catchier.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Yes. So we are continuing from a theme that we introduced on our previous episode, which was living your life, seeing your life as an epic story. And so we're going to boil that down into what it's like to be a protagonist. We were so excited in our first inaugural smashing the champagne into the ship episode that we kind of skipped where we got this whole story thing from. It's we invented the art of story.
Yeah,
well, Paul and I were sitting around a campfire in a cave as cavemen, and we invented a story. But that's not true.
No, it's not. Lots of research behind this.
Yes. So in addition to just story, what we've been kind of leaning into is the hero's journey story form, which is an ancient form. It was, I don't know if discovered, but proposed and codified by Campbell.
Good word.
Campbell, codified.
Yes.
It wasn't a cod before, but it was a trout before. But when he was done, it was a cod, 100% whitefish. I don't know if that's good or not, being a whitefish. Anyway, he did that in, 1949?
Yeah, it was a while back.
And he was he's more of like a sociologist or an anthropologist. He's like, hey, I've noticed that all these famous stories and legends that everyone they have these common elements. And so he kind of listed these common elements, and they became the hero's journey. And then sometime later, Vogler, I believe his name is, he shrunk that down and Hollywoodized it. It became part of the Lion King. It was part of Star Wars. And then all these Hollywood writers are like, oh, this is great. This is where the magic is. I can turn off my brain and just follow the hero's journey. And so in some corners of the world, it's kind of worn out, a little overdone. But we're looking at it a different way. So hopefully if it's overworn, you'll have patience with us. If you've never heard of it before, this is going to be a journey of exploration.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like Hollywood monopolized on this, what we're calling a natural operation of the brain.
Yeah,
right?
the native format of the brain. We said last week that the story is the native format of the brain.
Yes.
And then a hero's journey is a type of formatting, a skeleton for that story.
Skeleton.
And it
That's
made
good.
Star Wars $1 billion, and it made Lion King $1 billion. And these writers are like, do you smell that money in the air? Like we can put hero's journey in everything.
Yes.
Well, the most recent people to get on that bandwagon were actual social psychologists. And Paul and I came across this paper. You know, Paul and I, when we're not doing the podcast, we're knee deep in research papers. And, no, I'm making this entirely up. That is not true.
For the last couple months, that's actually been true.
In preparation for the show, we've been kind of going back to school a little bit. But that's, when you picture us, we're not in a shared man cave tossing papers back and forth.
Although, that does sound appealing,
that could be fun, though.
Yeah. Hello, Brent.
Check out this.
What's on the topic today?
All right. So this group of scientists, Benjamin Rogers and company, there was a whole bunch of them, and they did a study, an experiment where they had a streamlined version of the hero's journey, and they challenged people to apply that to restate their life in terms of those phrases and phases. And they measured them with surveys before and after, and they seemed to come out of that feeling like their lives were more meaningful. Their lives didn't change before and after. They didn't inject meaning in them, but they gave them a new viewpoint. And when they came out, they're like, ooh, I didn't see my life like that. This is great.
This has been appealing to me, too, because I actually was able to take part in some research years ago and cultivating meaning in people's lives. And Viktor Frankl is a huge influence, man's search for meaning. I mean, purpose and meaning is a huge topic.
Frankl is amazing.
Yes. I'll reference him later.
Amazing. As I mentioned, I did some time in boot camp as part of my military experience. They take a bunch of stuff away from you. That was nothing compared to Frankl and like a Holocaust camp,
Right.
and literally everything taken away from him. It's like, the only thing I got left is my attitude, and you can't take that. It's like, I can make it bad. It's like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy is just got mental power, just amazing.
Yeah. Talk about a protagonist.
Yeah. Yes.
Viktor Frankl was the protagonist of his story.
In the Marines, you talk about mental toughness, but I don't met anyone I think can hold a candle to Frankl. He was like, he sounds like a real gentle guy, but his brain was like buff, like Schwarzenegger. And like, you can't shake me.
I see what you did there.
What did I do?
Oh, you just brought that concept of mental strength into there.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think about it a lot.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I know I was going to mention him earlier, and you pretty much quoted him just a second ago, but I love what I had typed into this. Viktor Frankl, he believed that even in the most horrific and dehumanizing situation, everything can be taken from us except for one thing: the last of the human freedoms, the freedom to choose one's attitude.
Right.
Which you summed up earlier.
And I think that's a powerful phrase. I think we kind of dismiss it sometimes because, you kind of grow up with that from your parents. It's like, I don't like your attitude, change your attitude. And instantly it gets this rebellious button. And it's like, change your attitude. It sounds like you're a kid or something. But it's a superpower.
It really is something. Yeah, it's something to take hold of.
And there was this whole catchy phrase for a while, like, what was it? Your attitude determines your altitude.
Uh-huh.
But I Googled it, and like, attitude is like an aviation term. It's the angle that your plane is at. Your attitude is whether your plane is aimed away from the earth or aimed towards crashing to the earth. That is literally, if I understand it correctly and remember it correctly, that is your attitude.
Yeah. And if we're talking about what makes it a skill, we all of us have this negativity bias.
Right.
Right. And that's our brain's way of protecting us
from danger.
Yeah. So in order to rise above that, we have to apply a skill. We have to develop a skill.
That's an excellent point. Our brain, from survival mode, is biased to look at danger, look at negativity.
Yes.
That's going to bite me. That car's going to crash. She hates me. Everything. It's the worst possible. Your brain is wired for survival and brings up the worst possible explanations for everything, which is great for keeping you alive, but it makes you miserable. You have to override that. Like, thank you, autopilot, but I will take it from here. I don't think she really, after 29 years of marriage, I don't think she really hates me. I think maybe there might be another explanation there.
I like that. I actually use a tool in counseling called Thank the Brain.
Really?
But I really like this idea. Thank the autopilot.
I'm going to borrow. I must thank my brain. It's really working overtime today. Good job.
Step aside for just a moment, though. We've got to get out of this frame of mind here. Speaking of, back to Hero's Journey.
Yes.
Back to Roger.
Right. So Rogers and company, they reduced the Hero's Journey. So Campbell's original version was 27 steps. 27 steps.
It sounds like me.
So sit down, audience. We're going to go through all. No, we're not. We are not. And then Vogler reduced it to 17 steps, but still that was a lot.
Still a lot.
And then so Rogers and company reduced it to 7 steps.
Yes.
And then because we're even lazier than Rogers company, we reduced it to 6 steps. It's a 6-step program. Not really. But it's 6 elements in the hero's journey.
And really, we've got like 2 kind of.
Yeah, we did.
Meshed.
Basically because we meshed 2 of them together. Yes. Maybe it's not because we're lazy. We're just not as smart as Rogers and 2. They saw distinct steps, and it looked like all mashed potatoes to us, and so we just kind of ran with it.
That is true. That's why it's taken 3 months to get ready for this.
Good job, Rogers and Co. We would never mean to say that you're over-organized or discriminating or whatever.
So I bet you could guess what number 1 is.
Being a protagonist.
Good guess.
Shall we list all of them and we'll quiz them later?
Yes.
Okay. So the 6 elements of a hero's journey is that you have a protagonist, which we're going to explain today what that means. The protagonist then undertakes a quest. In the process of undertaking this quest, they find their tribe, their allies, and their helpers, and their
support?
They're brainy people. They're mentors. Yes, brainy people. Come, brainy people. They face obstacles. They overcome those obstacles and transform, and then they return with a legacy. That's the hero's journey in a nutshell. Like I said, other people break it down in more detail, but that's the high points. And those are the points that we found as we were looking at it. Like, this as Rogers found, this can really help people think about their lives. It doesn't change your life inherently. It's not like, here's $1 million, or here's a new super skill, or I'm inherently making you better. It changes the way that you're looking at your life.
It really does.
It gives you a tool for cranking that attitude in a different direction.
Yeah. It's such an important tool. And I think it's pretty unique that an anthropologist, back in the 1940s, discovered this. And then psychology came along and was like, hey, maybe he's onto something.
Yeah.
Right? So I was just looking up narrative therapy the other day. And this will be real quick. There's a group called the Dulwich Center. It's the gateway to narrative therapy and community work.
All right, so I'm trying to resist this joke, but is there dual witches running this center? What?
No, I believe that this is in another country.
Okay.
So it's
I'm not biased. If they want to, I'm not going to stop them. But I'm just curious.
DULWICH.
Okay, I got you.
Yes. So all I'm going to do is run down all of this.
Okay.
Research and what the hero's journey has been researched and has been found to be effective in treating in the mental health world.
Tell me.
So we got, 30 plus articles just on this page. You got resilience.
Okay.
Increases resilience. The hero's journey is effective in career counseling.
Okay.
It's effective in dealing with chronic pain.
I can see that.
It's effective with schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress.
Okay.
Which I'm aware of, social phobias, autism. What else? ADHD.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Self-harm.
Okay.
Body image.
All right.
Major depression.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it improves academics if children can see their lives through the hero's journey.
Yes. I can see that. I remember as a kid, just like math hates me, but if I didn't have a different framework of like an obstacle I had to overcome to level up as a hero,
I really do think that this idea, it was instilled in me somehow. I've got a couple people I can name, but my life at some point changed when I felt like I was in an epic story, and when my life had purpose and meaning, and that every obstacle that I was dealing with was going to help me become everything that God wanted me to be, or he had created me to be.
I like that. And I think we talked last episode about my time machine thing. I want to go in the time machine and undo all my mistakes. And then I realized that that's who made me what I was.
Exactly.
And if you go back and you tear down all the 2x4s, then your building falls apart.
Yeah. Yes,
man. So, an idea that Paul and I had is like, I haven't come across anyone that explicitly spelled this out, except for when we were talking about it, is like maybe the reason that a hero's journey is so popular over the centuries and the millennia is not just because it's just this randomly popular story form, but because it describes a person having a meaningful life.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and so
that perspective.
Yeah, and so it's like maybe that's why it's so. Maybe that's how it connects. Is like it connects for us because although we have may struggles to see the purpose in our struggles and our environment and our situation, we see someone else like, oh, that's what it looks like to live with purpose.
Because beforehand, it can be confusing.
Yeah,
you're experiencing, adversity, and you're experiencing, twists and turns in life, and
that's one of the beautiful things of the story is like living your life. It's like you're in a tiny little raft in the Whitewater Rapids. I've done a lot of rafting. I enjoy it. And it's like you're going up and down, you're going crazy. But if you're looking at a story, if you're looking at your life as a story, then your perspective is literally risen above and you're looking down at the boat. You're looking down at the waves. You have a different perspective. Like, oh yeah, I see there's a calm patch after that. And he goes around the corner. Oh yeah, I see. But when you're down in it, it's like, I'm drowning. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And so story gives you like this psychological distance from the events of your life. And you can look at it from a different perspective.
Objectivity.
Yes.
Wow.
So much of our struggles are subjective. And if you can find even a tiny bit of objectivity, I think it's very helpful.
Valuable. That's good. Man.
So, audience, that was our breakthrough. Hero's journey kind of represents, describes, does something about a meaningful life. And then as we mentioned in our previous episode, the thing that we do with stories, we sometimes don't apply that to our lives. We watch stories and we're entertained by them, but then we don't actually learn from them. Like, hey, I can, instead of just watching Neo or Luke Skywalker or Katniss or whatever, I can do what they did in a situation that's similar to mine in my life.
Yes.
And that next step is kind of what we're talking about, applying story.
And I think that that's why it's so important to remember that being a protagonist doesn't mean that it's just all about you.
Right.
Right.
And that is an important point that we have to clear up.
Yeah. I know it's a little ways down.
Right. No, I think we're getting there. So when you become a protagonist, we're talking about becoming the central character, the central hero of your life. But a lot of people, they hear that and they're like, oh, that's right. Life's all about me. Like that's not what we're saying. Mm-hmm. It's like you are the central character of your life. You have to be engaged in your life. Mm-hmm. You have to be trying to solve your own problems. You need to be embracing your own adversity as opposed to holding back and waiting to be rescued or complaining or any other sort of victim type of thing.
That's it.
But at the same time, everyone else is also the hero of their stories, and your stories are interweaving with their stories for this glorious narrative.
Yes.
And if you think, and that's one thing, like if you watch, not novels so much, novels are good about different viewpoints, but if you watch like, I don't know, Die Hard or something like that, you're basically with the hero the whole time. And even when you're not, it's just characters are described in a way that makes it clear that they're not the hero. They're shallow characters or they don't get much screen time. And every 2 seconds we look back to see what John McClane's doing. It makes it clear that it's his story.
Right.
But life is not like that.
No.
It feels like that. But all the bit players, air quotes, are also heroes of their own story. And our stories has to interweave and intertwine with them. And we have to respect them and honor them and try to help them. Because ideally, our story can't be just about us. It's got to be more than just us.
Well, and you can see that inherent in what happens to us when we're listening or when we're watching someone else's story, because we see ourselves and suddenly we're motivated to be the protagonist, to take on the struggle or the quest that's in front of us. Whereas earlier, we weren't quite sure how to approach it. We weren't quite sure how to face it. And then all of a sudden we're like, that's the way we can do it there.
And a lot of times it's because there's a need in the community. And we'll get to that in another episode, but there's a need in the community. You're like, I'm fine to hide away in the village on the couch or whatever, but this need gets so big that we have to accept the quest. And it impacts the main character, but it also impacts the whole community. And that's kind of what I was talking about is like you talk about today, in our life today, it's like, I don't understand why I'm not happy. I mean, I have everything I want and every convenience, and I can tap my phone and tap my my microwave, and everything happens instantly. And I have everything I want for my life, and I'm not happy. It's like, well, because maybe you're aiming too low. You're just trying to meet just your wants and your needs, and you're ignoring being a part of anything bigger. Which is the research is there. It's people who are involved in things bigger, things outside of themselves, generosity, or charity or religious or whatever, something bigger than themselves are measurably happier than people who are just focused on just their own wants and satisfying their own desires.
Measurably.
Yes. There's a happy meter. We'll invent one, a hap meter. Like a scene from Alien. Oh, I'm getting happier. He's getting happier.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It's funny that you're talking about happiness because I stumbled in all this research that we've been doing. I stumbled on this idea. It was actually it was G.K. Chesterton.
Okay.
And he was talking about happiness as being something that connects us to the supernatural. And I was like, hold on. That's not typically what you hear from some people, because I think people want to reduce happiness to being only emotional.
Right.
But I think what we're saying is that happiness is more of a gauge, definitely a gauge of things that are, going according to plan. However, what I feel like we've uncovered today,
Have we discovered something? We've uncovered and discovered and excavated and mined?
Yes.
That's great.
That it's not just when things go according to plan that creates happiness. It's having a life of meaning and purpose.
Yes.
Because we just said it's measurable.
Well, and so here's a tiny word geek aside. If you dial down on the actual word happiness, it's rooted in happenstance. And all my circumstances are aligning perfectly to make my life as great as possible. And that's why happiness is so hard to find, because like happiness is external.
Right.
We should probably mention that on this podcast about an external, internal locus of control. That should be something we should probably bring up in the next couple of minutes. But happiness is all about having an external, like all my circumstances are great, therefore I am happy with my life. But if you just cede your power, you give away your power, everything outside of if the weather determines my happiness, whether my wife is nice or grumpy today determines my happiness, whether my boss appreciates me determines my happiness, and you're giving away all your power to all these external things.
Sounds like a passive observer.
Yes, which would not be a protagonist.
Not a protagonist.
Tell us about a protagonist.
So there's a protagonist mindset, and there's a few things that define what this mindset looks like. So definitely the mindset is not going to be what we just said, is this victim mentality. Right. I'm going to clear my throat a lot today. This cortado, man.
You're getting choked up. Being a protagonist is powerful.
I'll tell you what it's not, though. All right.
Okay.
It's not just not being a victim.
All right.
It's also not being a protagonist that overshoots on assertiveness.
Yeah. When I was looking at this,
yes.
I was looking just at, as I think we mentioned last week, I was on the couch and I wanted to get back in the adventure. And that was my two modes. It was either you're passive, waiting for life to fix itself, or you were active. And there was only two modes. And then Paul says, there's a third mode. I'm like, shh, don't talk about that right now. But, to my initial, when I was thinking about it, I thought a protagonist mindset is opposite to a victim mindset. A victim mindset is there's nothing I can do. I have an external locus of control. We need to define that. So locus of control is like the steering wheel of your life. It's just a fancy word to make us feel smarter. Locus. You feel my IQ going up? I feel it.
Are you talking about an insect or?
No, not a locust. So I Googled this too because I was trying to understand it. Locus is similar to focus. So focus is the point that you look at. Locus is kind of the point where the telescope is at. So it's kind of weird. So focus is the way you look at it, but locus is where the controls are actually positioned. So the locus of control is your steering wheel inside the car or is it outside the car? Are you just a victim as someone is driving your car around going, no, not that way, no, we're going to crash? Or are you steering wheel inside the car and you're actually driving the car?
Man, the visual on that is hilarious.
Then you brought up this antagonist thing where like they're grabbing everyone else's steering wheel and driving their car for them.
That's it. That's it.
It's like, that's genius.
They're reaching through the window.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to go this way.
Yes.
You will go this way.
So I was looking at it as very similar, yes, no, black, white, but we took it beyond to a dialectic. This is where sometimes the best setting is in the middle of two extremes rather than just
and that's what we do here.
Right. Yes.
That's what we do here.
Middle ground is awesome, very powerful.
Yeah. And when I think of internal, external locus of control, I like to remind people because people will feel validated when you tell them there still are things happening out in the street. You still have to be a defensive driver. Right. It's not like you grab the steering wheel and now it's just, going straight. You're going to have to turn. Yes. You're going to have to do, you're going to have to deal with the adversity. Nonetheless, it is you steering that wheel.
Correct. I was talking about the whitewater rafting, and something I learned very quickly is that if you steer the front of the boat into the waves, you tend to stay in the boat. If you don't, if you hit the waves sideways, you and the boat part company very rapidly.
Yeah.
So you can't control those waves. Are going to be fast. They're white. They're rushing. They're going up and down. But your attitude, the direction of your boat, really changes how you experience that.
Yes.
And people who don't, people are like, oh, I'm helpless. And so people do. They panic, and their boat goes in sideways. And it's like, so that was your first mistake was you panicked, and you threw your oars away, and you lost all control of your boat, and then you got dumped out of it.
Man, training. You got to train the brain.
And no one is great at that the first time around. They've got to practice. Hey, if I keep my nose pointed this way, it works a little bit better.
No one makes the first jump. Well, I'm from the north, so everything you just said makes sense to me when it comes to driving on ice.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah. Again, negativity bias, right, is jerk the steering wheel the opposite direction.
Yes. And just kind of overshoot.
Right? But then you've got the training, right?
Yeah.
And you're told this, growing up north, you're told this when you're riding in the car at 5 years old. Okay, Paul, we're sliding, and I just want you to know what's happening right now. None of my parents sounded like this, though.
Okay. I was curious.
Not even my grandfather. But anyway, I'm still going to go with it.
Right.
So we're sliding right. We're going to turn right.
We're going to turn into the skid.
Turn into it.
Turn into the skid.
Oh, it's so, man. It's just.
Oh, man, that would tie into our Embracing Adversity episode that's coming in. You got to turn into the skid.
Let's remember that.
Yeah. Note to self.
Note to self.
We need to do a Bill and Ted and just go back in time and send ourselves a note to remember the thing with the, never mind. Carry on.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on locus of control. I think sometimes people, when they think that you're, focusing on that, that internal, it's like, okay, somebody might come and, sideswipe you, on the road, and you might have to sit there, call your insurance company and do all this stuff. But there still is a big difference between sitting there with your hands on your face, going, I can't believe this happened.
I spent some time in the Middle East, and you would see people when they were in a traffic accident, they would literally take their hands off the wheel. It was like an Islamic version of Jesus take the wheel. And like no, you're that's not helping. You need to. All right, we're already halfway dead. What's going to keep us the other halfway alive is you keeping your hands on the wheel. And you would I'm not saying everyone was like that, but it was kind of a thing that you saw. It's like, no, please don't do that. I need you to locus your control a little bit better.
Yes. And the steering wheel goes figurative too, because if you get hit, right?
Yes.
And you're sitting there on the side of the road, you still can't become the passive observer.
Yeah, some people get in an accident, I feel like, and they just rip the steering wheel out and fling it out the window. Well, that was it. I gave it a try, and now I'm just going to sit here until AAA comes and no. You got to get back up, man. You got to get back up.
Paul and Brent were full of it. It does not work. I tried turning the steering wheel. Those guys don't know anything.
Oh, man. All right, so part of the protagonist mindset is that they focus on meaning and purpose. They focus on persistence, on grit and driving through. And they focus on personal responsibility.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah. Like, this has happened to me, and it may not have been my fault. I didn't decide to crash the car, but it's my car, and it's my crash, and now I got to do something.
I've got to solve the problem now.
This is part of protagging, which is opposed to just sitting there and waiting for the problem to solve itself.
Yes. Probably my favorite dialectic right there.
I like it too.
Yeah. And I think that grit, that word, it's, just one syllable.
Grit.
But it's, I don't know, it's just got something to it.
And that's the thing. If you think about it, and we talked about it in our previous episode, is like the protagonist is the one, that's trying to get out from the terror. They're trying to break they never give up. They're like, oh man, that was our one shot. We cut the green wire instead of the red wire. I guess we're all going to die. And the protagonist is like, no, I can't quit. Never give up. Never surrender. Like, we got to keep going on. And so that's kind of defines the protagonist in the story, is the one person who doesn't want to quit.
Don't give up.
Not always, but generally speaking, yeah.
Never back down. Never give up.
So I think one thing that we were going to mention that we might not have mentioned is that when you have a victim's mindset, it's almost like you're an NPC. You're a non-player character in the video game. You're sitting there, oh, my puppy ran into the cave. If only a brave hero would go in the cave and reclaim my puppy. I will give you 12 golden points, 12 pieces of gold, and the legendary sword. It's like, well, if you've got the legendary sword, go in the cave and get your own puppy. Oh, no, that's not what I do. I'm not a brave adventurer like you.
Oh, man.
If you're a protagonist, you are.
Man, I hear that. That's not me. That's not what I do.
That's not what I do.
I'm like, well, do you
learn
want
something
to?
new.
Yeah, I mean, what is this?
Well, that's the thing, and we're going to get in it in other episodes. As part of what separates the protagonist from the beginning of the story and the end of the story is that they learn how to become the person who does that. That's the point of the story, is that they level up, they change their identity, they change their ability, they become the person that can do that.
But what if they fail?
Well, they fail a lot. We talked about the try-fail cycles.
Oh, okay.
That when you're in like a Hollywood 3-act story, changing that is like almost the last thing that happens. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, I can do it. Climax, we're done. And it's like, oh wow, most of the battle was mental.
I mean, Anybody I've ever met that's into gaming, I mean, they don't ever get where they got in a game, whatever the game is, by doing it once, doing it twice.
Yes.
They do it over and over and over and over again.
I've got a game that I play pretty regular, and people come on like, it's so hard and the bugs are so mean. Like, the setting was insane. It said on the tin, it was insane. If you wanted the baby version, go to the baby version. This is where the grown people do the insane stuff. But they're so mean. That's why you shoot them. The bugs, not the people.
Yeah. I don't want to come off as an expert, but just the therapist in me right now, it's just responding right now internally. I'm just feeling like people need to remember that this tool, being a protagonist, that they may find it very easy to be a protagonist in one area of their life.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to have to apply this skill to different areas of their life, right?
You can go to work and be awesome and then come home to like your family of origin and suddenly I'm a little kid again. I don't know how to protag this with these people that I have this entrenched power dynamic with.
There are subplots.
Yeah.
And fake out endings.
Like, I'm the best race car driver in the world. It's like, well, how are you with relationships? Oh, I suck. Well, how about your kids? Oh, I suck at that too. How about making money? Oh, I suck at that too. It's like, well, maybe you need to branch out that skill set and apply it to other areas of your life.
But they need that perspective. Yeah. That's where the tribe comes in, right?
Exactly. And we're going to get to that in future episodes.
We'll get to that.
But just know that you can't go it alone.
All right. So we got it. I mean, we got some examples.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's helpful to look at some examples.
Yeah.
So one example would be in one of my favorite films, which is Iron Man. And what's great about it, when I watched that movie, I really didn't care for that character, Iron Man. I'm like, why are they starting with this lame character? He's not nearly as cool as 5 other ones. Spoiler, that's why they started. In case they screwed it up, they didn't want to screw up their best character. But Robert Downey made it their best character, and he kind of outmaneuvered them. But what made that great is that, so we're going to talk about these movies that are at least 10 years old. And if we spoil them, well, you've had 10 years to figure it out. So here we go. So in Iron Man, the whole movie starts with Tony Stark being the spoiled playboy, and instantly he's injured, captured by terrorists, and enslaved to build weapons for them. Like, this is a great time to just give up. I mean, if all you've known was respect for your genius and being pampered and being spoiled by having a gazillion more money than God, suddenly you're down to ground level. This is the time to quit and roll over.
Which is kind of interesting, if you don't mind me pausing for a second, because he doesn't necessarily have the victim mindset, but he does have this passive, like, I'm just going to coast through life.
Yeah.
And then he's met, wham,
right,
with his obstacle.
And we'll get into that in our future episode about finding your tribe. But a big thing was his Yeltsin, the guy that was in the cave. Like, well, this is a very important week for you then, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to die in a week. Well, then this is where all your last decisions are made. Maybe instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you take responsibility for your own life and start protagging. And he's like, ooh, I could do that.
Yes. Love it.
So he's captured, so he has a choice. He can be helpless and roll over, or he can decide that he's a protagonist and work on a secret plan. He's like, if only I was a genius weapons inventor trapped in this cave with all these weapons. Wait a minute. I am. Hold on. So, and then another example is with the Hunger Games, which I'm going to say that the book was better than the movie, but that's beside the point. But even in the movie, you have Katniss, and she's trapped in this dystopian world where she has no power, and she's paying the price for the sins of others. You get far enough in the book, you realize there's a civil war, and all the other areas are being punished because of the civil war, and they have to give you their tributes and gladiatorial games. But she just wakes up. She was born in this world, and she's like, am I going to fight this, or am I just going to say it's too big for me? And she does say it's too big for her until it becomes her little sister. And then suddenly she's got skin in the game, and she's like, okay, we got to fix this.
Yep. Ooh, that changes everything.
And I think that's a good point that we brought into is often the protagonist doesn't look like they're the right person for the job.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be lacking in the skills that you would think.
I mean, if it's a different version of Iron Man and they came up to Tony Stark and they're like, hey, I need you to help me pick out the best expensive sports car. That wouldn't really be a stretch for him. It wouldn't be a very entertaining story. Like, yeah, I've always liked the Corvette. Roll credits, movie over. But the thing was, he was the worst possible guy to be trapped in a cave at the hands of terrorists.
Which kind of goes to show you how protagging is the skill, right?
Yes.
It's not necessarily
master
all
skill.
the other things, right? Because you could be missing all these pieces. But if you have the protag skill.
Yes, and that's what makes Hero's Journey a tool for growth and exploration and leveling up, is that that's a master skill that helps you develop the other skills that you need.
Did you see what I added there to the element?
Ooh.
So Brent, he put that a key ingredient is persistence in protagging. And I put humble and persistent.
Yes. And that was a hard lesson for Tony Stark. He was not a very humble guy.
No, he wasn't.
But he kind of got humbled a few times.
Right.
He learned that the world was much bigger than he realized it was.
Yes.
So when we have a seemingly unqualified protagonist, like in Lord of the Rings, we've asked a tiny hobbit to take the One Ring across the world into the hostile wastes and fortresses of Mordor. It's like, well, we have knights and giants and giant trees, but we didn't ask any of them to do it. We asked the most unassuming, wrongest person for the job possible.
Well, and they had an opportunity, a couple of them, right?
Yeah.
And they were all
They failed.
Yeah, they're all like looking around like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then here comes Frodo.
His qualification was he was the most qualified to resist the ring. He didn't have the longest legs. He couldn't walk through the snow. He didn't have the best battle experience, but he had this master skill that unlocked these other skills.
Yes.
Everyone else was more qualified, but then they would fall to the power of the ring much more quickly, as we saw in some of the scenes.
Something to think about. Yeah,
so as in we're talking, skill, a master skill that unlocks other skills. As we mentioned for Iron Man, you have an immature, egocentric man-child who has somehow learns to become a selfless hero needed to stop terrorists and arm dealers. Man,
I mean, that's a tall order.
That was a big change for him. That's what made that movie so satisfying.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my favorite scene from that movie. So he has escaped from the terrorist. He's at home working on his hobbies. He's changed his company. We're not going to sell guns anymore, and blah blah blah. And he's getting pushed back. So he goes back to his little hobby room, and he's ignoring the whole world, doing a little whatever PTS therapy or something. I'm going to just play with my suits and forget everything else. And he's working with the thing, he's doing the thing, and the news comes on. It's like in the city of Gomera, where Yeltsin's from. Terrorists are coming. And the newscaster looks out the screen at Tony and said, who is going to stop them? And he stands up. He was sitting down. He stands up like, pick me, send me, this kind of thing.
Yes.
And he points at the screen. It's like, she's talking to me. This is, no one but me can handle this. I'm going to handle this. And he stands up out of his selfishness, out of his licking his wounds, and stands up and is like, oh crap, the world still needs me. I escaped, but there's tons of people who are still trapped.
So this proves my point from earlier, that you can experience multiple layers of your own story.
Yes.
Because he had to be humbled.
Yes.
Right? And he had to be motivated to get out of that camp.
Yes.
Right? Out of the cave. Then he goes home and he thinks that he's being a protagonist, right? Creating the suits, he's doing all this. And then it's another level of protagging.
Because he's hiding away from the constant. He discovered a bigger world, and he comes back to his comfortable world and doesn't want to follow it up.
Yeah. So sometimes I think that happens to all of us. You know, we think that we've gone to the next level, and it's like, no, you're only halfway through the level.
There's another scene, I'm not recalling it correctly, but he goes to this cushy party, and this reporter shows up. So you're comfortable in the cushy party because the world is going to heck while you're not looking. He's like, it is. Hold on, I must leave this cushy party. and that's he's like, oh wow. He's like, he was trying to hide from his destiny or from the thing he discovered, and it chased him down and said, hey, are you forgetting something?
I love the way you said that.
Well, it's like our struggles. We try to avoid our struggles sometimes. We end up just going around the mountain. We just go, we run and run and run and run and go all the way around the entire mountain and come back and find the exact same scene that we ran from.
Yes.
It's waiting for us to pass it so we can level up. And until we pass it, we won't level up.
But he thought, like I think for a moment there, he thought he was over with the struggles.
I think he was.
That was bad. That was a bad struggle.
So that was rough. But now I'm back in the lap of luxury.
Right.
But then his attitude and his viewpoint of the world had changed, and he couldn't ignore it anymore.
changed enough.
Yes. Same with
Yes.
Katniss. And once her sister got looped into the whole thing, she couldn't ignore it either. So Katniss was a backwoods hillbilly hunter who has to take on the sophisticated media machine of the big city gladiatorial industry
Again,
from the inside.
she didn't have those kind of skills.
She didn't even know how to put on makeup. She's going on in front of the camera and doing all this stuff. Like, I know how to hunt rabbits and stuff, but I don't know any of this other stuff. I'm not horribly, all the smooth political stuff left and right. She's always fighting against that. I don't need to do this. And her mentor person's like, oh, you absolutely need to do this. You're going to die.
You know what's coming to mind right now?
What's that?
That phrase that we talked about where somebody else's adventure looks a lot better than our own.
Yes. It's like the grass is always greener. It's like, oh, I want that adventure.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we're watching that movie and there's a part of us that can relate. We're like, that's right. Rise above.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, when we're actually do you realize how vulnerable she was?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if we were in that place.
She left everyone she ever knew, except for the PETA guy. And then they're there. And they go from out in the backwoods, the Kentucky hillside coal mining community. And now they're in like Washington, D.C. and there's glitz and there's glamour and there's cameras and there's backstabbing. And she's like, if there's like everyone who is unqualified for this, I am that person.
She's like rough around the edges.
It's like, yo, watch this. Like, no, that's not what we say here, Katniss. If you're from the Kentucky coal mining region, that's not against it. It's just how this movie was portrayed.
Yeah.
It's like District 12 or whatever. If I Googled it, I think it was Kentucky somewhere around that. Is it that general idea?
Oh, no kidding.
A general idea.
That's fascinating. I learn something new every day.
Now, the hunting and fishing people from District whatever, they were like from the Pacific Northwest, and that's why they applied. I thought, although from the Pacific Northwest, they should like had a lumberjack axe or something, but they chose to go a different way with that. Missed opportunity, if you ask me. That's okay. Oh, yeah. And then we talked about Neo from The Matrix.
Right.
So Neo doesn't seem like he's the best guy to be the chosen one either. He's just kind of this cubicle jockey trying to figure out stuff, living a double life.
Kind of homely dude.
Yeah, just kind of living quiet and like, okay, man.
He's smart.
Whatever boss says, you got to do something. Okay, boss, whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's not the stand-up guy that's going to face down the machines and change the world.
I mean, think about everything that it took at the beginning for him to even be motivated to take the protag role, right?
Right.
I mean, he's sitting there climbing out the window. He's like unsure about himself.
They talk about like resisting the call for adventure. The call for adventure comes and you resist it. Luke's like, I couldn't possibly be a Jedi because I'm a whiny teenager and I got to be with my aunt and uncle. Well, your aunt and uncle are dead. Well, that does change things. I'm a little less whiny, but I guess I should leave because my home is a flaming wreck. I got nothing here but burning desert. You only had desert, and then the desert burned. There's even less. You didn't. That's kind of negative numbers. I don't know how that works, but
and then I feel like later on he was still whiny, but just kind of in an old man kind of way.
Yeah,
but I digress.
Yeah,
he just had a beard.
Well, yeah,
but anyway,
we could. Sometimes when the story changes writers, some things change. Anyway.
Well, it just goes to show you that you're still going to have to protag even when you get older.
Yes,
even after you have.
Okay, so we could go there. So in the sequels, Luke gets a major force butthurt and hides away on an island and shuts himself down and is like, I'm the most powerful being in the universe, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit over here and hide because life went wrong. I did an adventure and it went out badly. So I'm throwing my steering wheel. He put a spaceship in the water. He threw his steering wheel out the window.
He threw his steering wheel out.
And just sat there with drinking seal milk, green seal milk or something with the little flying birds and stuff.
I mean, is that what we were supposed to feel? Because I was like, dude, you're pathetic.
Well, some people got upset about that, but they're like, well, wasn't Obi-Wan hiding in the desert and wasn't Yoda hiding in the swamp? It's kind of what pouting Jedis do. I'm going to go back in the mud and the crap and feel sorry for myself.
I have, in my journey of being more dialectical, have realized that
you need a swamp.
Well, no, I just realized that the Jedis are not all that. Like there was a sect of Jedi that were much more dialectical.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well,
we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, we can get to that note. But they were very black and white. It's like only a Sith deals in absolutes. Like, isn't that an absolute statement that you just said? I mean, I think anyway, yeah.
Also, there was a lot of force there. No pun intended. Not a lot of choice.
Yes.
Yeah. So like in other words, the Jedis were being a little antagonistic at times.
Yeah, they're trying to control other people, weren't they?
Oh, like, man.
So when you find yourself trying to control other people and make them live the story better, you're kind of drifting a little to the villain side. You can be responsible to people, but you're not responsible for people. You coach them, you can coax them, you can do, but ultimately their decision is their decision. When you start, this society needs order, and you build a police state and try to make people be ordered, then that's how you know you've slipped into villain camp.
Yeah.
If any politicians are listening here, don't slip into villain camp. People have to make their own decisions.
So with my worldview, it's that protag is that middle.
Yeah.
Because I definitely...
Between the helpless victim and between the antagonistic trying to control everybody else.
Yeah. And I truly think that
the right amount of control.
We struggle with that. I think so. I think often we're probably sitting right in front of something that we can control. That's in our life. That's in our sphere of influence.
It's tempting to deal with somebody else's problem.
We're dealing with somebody's over here, right? I mean, that's a big reason why the serenity prayer is a huge part of my life. Because it's okay, let's just find the difference between all these. I need some help.
What you can control versus what you can't control.
Yes.
That's true. You get stuck on one thing. It's I'm just going to sit here till this one thing clears up. It's well, there's other things you can be doing. It's and that happens a lot. We do some work, my wife and I, with marriage and stuff, and it's easy to see your partner as the problem. Well, what's the problem? Her. It's well, if that's really the problem, there's nowhere this conversation can go. Is there something you can do? Well, it won't work. No, stop. Is there something you can do in this situation to push the situation forward?
Go get your steering wheel.
But I don't want to. I want to blame it on my partner. And it's well, that's not helping. It may be accurate that you've been frustrated and feel betrayed, but the fact that there's nothing we can do, my steering wheel is gone, then you can't ever go forward. You can't go past that. So let's talk about this power of persistence. Let's talk about this grit.
All right.
The gritty protag.
I like it. I really like the idea of grit.
She was a leggy blonde. She walked into my office of all the, I don't know, some gritty noir kind of story. I don't know. That didn't work.
Cigar.
Yeah, cigar. Feet on the desk.
Yeah. Well, I think that I often tell people anxiety in and of itself, it sure is a liar. It seems to paint this awful picture.
Yeah.
And then if you can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, at some point you realize, oh, that was just a painted picture. It really wasn't as horrible.
That makes sense. I think that ties into our talk about the negativity bias too. You're seeing everything that could go wrong. All your warning flags are going off.
Yes.
I'll just hide back in the cave. It's you could, but you'll never get past this if you don't. It's going, and once again, going around the mountain, you'll never get past this.
Yeah.
It's yes, this could go horribly wrong. Have you done the best you can? Have you made the best plans you can? Have you done everything you can? Yeah. I may or may not have had this talk with myself before we filmed this episode today in the video and everything. It's have you done everything you can? Yes. Can you be on the other side of the camera and watch yourself? No, I can't. So hopefully it'll work.
Well, for whatever reason, I'm imagining somebody sitting in a car and they're in a parking lot and here comes a car and it's coming. And it's that moment of what am I going to do? Am I going to yank the steering wheel, pedal to the metal, and get out of the way, or am I just going to let this car hit me?
I feel we can get beaten down and ground down, where sometimes you just feel oh, I'm just going to give up. Yeah. And that might be a season where you feel that, but you can't just stay there. You've got to get up.
It's a big part of life. I think that sometimes when you sit there and you're I don't know how many more cars I can take.
Yeah.
But it's hey.
Well, we talked about in the previous episode that being a persistent protagonist doesn't mean stubbornly going forward when everything fights you. So you don't quit, but if all your plans have failed, then maybe it's your plan that's wrong and not you. You don't go back to the couch and quit. You're just okay, back to the drawing board. Let's come up with a different plan. We're still going to achieve the goal or a related goal, but the way we were going about it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't want it I don't care if it works or not, but it's got to be this way. And it's that's not going to help.
That is such a good. Where does that fit into this?
Well, people kind of fall in love with their plan, with their tool, with their plan. It's got to be this. And it's well, if it's not working, maybe it doesn't have to be that.
So you're asking for Flexibility?
You have to be flexible. Well, that's why in this podcast, we're going to give people multiple tools.
Yeah.
So like, I don't do much golfing, but I like the fact that they carry a bag full of different things. And it's like, oh, this one calls for a big woody club. I'm going to smack it with it. Oh, what about a thin metal one? No, that's the wrong tool for this situation.
I mean, I can relate. I mean,
if it were me, I'd have like a shotgun in there too, and I would just shoot the golf ball across the thing. But apparently that's cheating.
But I mean, how many times have I been like working on something? I'm sure you can relate to this. And you're tinkering around with everything you've got in your workshop.
Right.
And then you either go down to the store or you Google and you realize that they have a tool made for this job.
Just for that.
And you're like, this would have made my life so much easier.
And in true dialectical fashion, sometimes you do the opposite, is that you spend all your time on Google buying random tools and you never get around to using them. Like, well, when that happens in this Batman situation where everything and the sky is green and the water's rising, I'm going to have the perfect canoe. Like, well, where are you going to put a canoe? Your wife says, shh, I'm being prepared for every situation.
That happened to me yesterday. I don't know for bringing in personal stories here, but so my wife's glasses, they fell apart and it needed a small screw. And I'm like, I bought a glass repair kit at some point. So I go fumbling through my toolboxes and I'm like, man, I have got some pretty random stuff in here. Like I got like lock picking kits.
Really?
Yes, I've got.
The police want to have a word with you.
I know. I'm like, where did I get this?
Oh.
How do I have this?
Amnesia and criminal tools. That's not a good combo.
But I can relate to having all these tools. I'm like, I sure have a lot more tools than I thought I did.
Yes. So it's being able to pick the right tool for the right job.
Right.
And not.
Well, and like you said,
it's like collecting tools, like collecting books, can be a different hobby than actually using the tools or reading the books.
I really think so. I think there's a reality to that.
I think so. So let's talk more about the protagonist. We talked about giving the steering wheel and giving it a yank and getting back in traffic. Mm-hmm. So things that a protagonist has a mastery orientation. Mm-hmm. So it's different than a victim mindset. It's more of the mastery mindset or the growth mindset. It's like, I need to master this situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that when you start to practice doing something, well, I mean, let's go back to like hardware.
Okay.
I'm actually thinking about doing this, like for some clients of mine, videotaping myself cutting a straight line on a piece of plywood with a handsaw.
Okay.
Right. And then just closing the camera in on the line and being like, you see that? That is not that straight, but I'm going to do better next week.
Right.
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 Because just because I can cut a line, like it's a decent line, like I'm sure that it's fine for some rough project or whatever. But if I'm making cabinets or something, that's not going to do it.
Right.
I'm going to have to get much better. I'm going to have to master that skill.
And that comes, like we talked about our try-fail cycles, that comes through experience. And if you're afraid, and this is kind of a recent thing for me, if you're afraid to fail, if failure has been linked in your brain with humiliation, then you never learn to get any better. This is the thing with the fixed mindset. And this is kind of more of the Carol Dweck's work on fixed mindset and growth mindset. And the thing that jumped out at me of that is just the fear of failure.
Yes.
If you, through your childhood or whatever, have just been connected with failure with disaster, and failure with humiliation, and failure was you were too big for your britches and life slapped you back down where you belong.
Yeah.
As kind of some messages that you might internalize, then it's going to be hard. Then failure is like this thing to avoid, but it's the path to growth.
Yeah.
You have to make 100 bad cuts before you make a good cut. You have to do 100 bad karate chops before you learn the form. If you're not willing to put in the work and make the mistakes, you never get to the mastery. You never get good at it.
Yeah. And I want to touch on this. So let's put a pin in this.
Okay.
But, when it comes to childhood and us having these parts of ourselves that are fearful, you have to be in a tribe of people that have a growth mindset.
Yes.
You have to. You're not going to heal, and you're sure not going to be encouraged and motivated to put the protag robe on or however.
And I think that's true for the locus of control too. You need a tribe that's going to say, all right, so vent and feel like a victim for 30 minutes. Now get back up. And what are you going to do now? So you need people in your corner.
Yes.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
So
I think that what we just brought up brings up that point that the P's that we're going to talk about, that there really is this sense when you've grown up in an environment when you were young that has that fixed mindset,
right? You
do feel like there's permanence to a failure.
Yeah. So a thing that we've come across is a different subtool or whatever. It was like Martin Seligman, and he talks about how people who don't have a growth mindset, they see failure in terms of 3 Ps. They see that it's personal, that it's permanent, and that it's pervasive. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I failed at this situation. I am a failure. You own it. It's like you yourself are the failure, but that's not true.
No, that's toxic.
We talked about you can be really great at one thing and really bad at another thing. Yeah. So clearly you're not the failure, just in this particular arena, in this particular task, your current efforts and strategy failed. It's time to roll back and try a different effort and strategy and see if it will succeed.
I can do that?
And then it's permanent. Like sometimes, I'm a failure. I'm therefore going to be a failure for the rest of my life, or I'll never get better at this. Mm-hmm. When we just talked about with the mastery mindset, you have to fail to get better. You have to fail forward.
And I have to say that I probably just fell into the victim mindset just now, just blaming like childhood on it. But, sometimes just our negativity bias is what we're fighting too.
Yeah.
Because there is something in our negativity bias, kind of in that realm that even when we experience trauma, it wants to, that part of the brain, which is kind of isolated from other processes that are more adaptive, that they can pull in other information that lets you know that it's not permanent. Right. Sometimes in that moment of trauma, you feel like this is permanent.
Right. I read across something with, maybe it was The Body Keeps the Score or something, that trauma and PTSD feels timeless. It breaks the timekeeper part of the brain, and you just feel trapped in it forever.
Yes.
So that could very well be an actual clinical connection for that failure is permanent thing.
Yes. For sure.
I want to just tell people, when I came across this thing from Seligman, and it's got to be like 10 years ago or something, it really opened my eyes. I'm like, this is amazing. I instinctively was thinking all of these things until he said, don't do that. I'm like, oh, that's great. And the third P is pervasive, is that failure fills every area of your life. It's like, all right, so I'm not doing very good at my job per se, but I could still be a good father, a good husband. I could still be good at other things. No. I'm a failure. I'm a blanket failure across everything. Yeah. And it's like, all right, so it feels like that, but you're totally being a drama queen. That is not true.
Yeah. I had to remind myself even this past weekend, we were spending some time out of town and we had this moment where the whole family was experiencing excessive heat from the sun. I felt like the sun was out to get me. I felt paranoid.
The sun, it's vindictive, I'll tell you.
But in my vulnerable state, I might have been a little harsh toward my family. And, after we came back to the headquarters and cooled down and we all apologized, I had to remind myself, that was momentary.
Yeah.
I repaired. The rest of the trip is fine. I didn't ruin the trip.
Right. I've had the opposite experience. Went on a trip, and like the first day something terrible happened or something adversive happened, but it was interpreted as terrible, and it really ruined the trip. It was just like no one was getting along, and it just overshadowed the entire trip. And now I'm like, every day is a do-over. Every hour is a do-over.
Yes.
We're not going to do that. And I learned that for myself, and I learned to do that as a little bit more of a leader in my family. It's like, all right, family, we're going to reset our mindset here, and this trip is not a failure.
My oldest daughter actually said that when we went back, into the air conditioning. She laid down on the floor. She goes, reset.
And we get hot. Hot is hard. Heat is hard.
Oh man. Oh yeah. I've talked about that on another mental health podcast. It will It definitely
it's cooking my brain. I can't do it. Oh, man. So I think we're coming to the bottom of this episode here, but we have some takeaways. We have some questions for you, dear bracketeers, to apply to you and respond to us. What do you think about these? What are our questions, Paul?
Well, I think the first one definitely, especially we addressed it at the very beginning, is asking yourself the question, like, do I feel like a victim? Do I feel like a passive observer?
And how are you living? And your feelings can be one thing, but are you letting them dictate how you actually approach your life?
That's a good differentiation there. And then I would actually say the opposite too, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel so out of control that do you feel like maybe you're trying to control other people?
Ooh, that's good. That's a good point that we waited till the very end of the podcast, is that the people that control other people are often because they feel out of control.
Yeah.
Instead of dealing with their own junk, they're like, it's much more tempting to deal with your junk.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So then the final question is, how could developing, creating a protagonist mindset change how you approach these situations in your life? How could you use that tool to change how you're addressing these situations in your life?
That's a good question. I might email you about that.
I like it. So if you were going to email me, you would email me at contact@fullmentalbracket.com. That's where you contact the Full Mental Bracket people.
I'm doing it today.
Yes. So let us know how you're doing. We want to know what you think. We want to know what struggles you're struggling with. We want to know if you think these tools are going to work for you. If you try these tools, let us know. Contact@Full Mental Bracket. We'll be happy to know that. We might even mention you in a podcast. You can be our new best friend. Who knows?
I'm looking forward to that.
You want to be my new best friend?
Yes.
Okay. You got to contact me at fullmentalbracket.com. All right, gang. This wraps it up for another episode. Have a fabulous lifetime until we see you again. And hopefully it won't be your entire lifetime before we see you again. That didn't come out right. Anyway, yes, have a great week. Have a great day. Have a wonderful time. And we will see you next time on the Full Mental Bracket. This episode is part of the Applied Storytelling Framework, a powerful tool you can use to build a meaningful and satisfying life, elevating your life story into something epic. You can find the entire framework right here. Do yourself a favor and watch these episodes. They will change the way you see yourself and give you the grip you need to level up your life. Thank you.